Bird are brilliant. And here's Shaker Maker down the outside with an explosive burst of speed.
Go, 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 Sky Racing!
Good morning, wherever you're watching. Welcome to our coverage of America's #1 horse race, Derby Edition 127, the famed running on the mile and a quarter circuit at Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky, Churchill Downs, and the first of our pictures we'll be able to cross to very, very soon. Betting figures from the States we'll be able to confirm. I can confirm, though, that Point Given is the favourite. We'll also be hearing in the next little while from Keith Hillier, live from Louisville. Let's turn back the clock to last year and remember the feats of a marvellous 3-year-old, the first favourite to win the Kentucky Derby since 1979. He started from the extreme outside gate. His name, Fusaichi Pegasus.
Kentucky Derby 126, Hal's Hope broke like a rocket. He takes the lead. Wheel away, flashing good speed up the inside. They're quickly joined by Trippy, and Trippy takes over by a deck now. Hal's Hope second, Wheel away third, Captain Steve fourth, More Than Ready came away fifth. Graham Hall moves up to the outside in sixth place now, and they're followed by Exchange Rate. He's the 4 wide around the first turn. The Deputy moves up into the leading group now, and they're followed by High Yield, and he's caught 4 wide around that turn. Commendable is up close early as well. Around the first turn they go. Hal's Hope 3 parts of a length in front, being pressed by Trippy to his outside in second. Arkansas Derby winner Graham Hall is third. More Than Ready saving ground along the inside in fourth. High Yield loops up 3 wide from fifth. Exchange Rate 6. Captain Steve is 4 lengths off the pace. Then Wheel Away's next up the inside. And they're followed by Commendable, War Chant next at the rail. Then it's the Deputy. He's got 9 to make up, followed by China Visit. 2.5 back, it's Fusaichi Pegasus. He's 9 lengths off the pace, but moving steadily now. It's a gap of a couple farther back now. In the colors of Aptitude, and Aptitude has got 10 to make up. Up the inside comes Unease. Then part of the entry, Carul is next. He's got 12 to make up, a gap of 5 to Deputy Warlock. From the back of the pack, Impeachment starts to pick it up now, and the trailer long shot, Ronton. Round the far turn, Hal's Hope, Hill's still there. On the outside comes Trippy to challenge in second. Captain Steve makes his move. There goes Captain Steve, 3 wide. More Than Ready gets set down for the drive. Long shot, Wheel Away is hanging tough. China Visit cranks it up on the far outside, and here comes Fusaichi Pegasus along with Aptitude. They head for home, and Captain Steve taking the lead 4 wide. Long shot, Wheel Away comes over into Captain Steve, and More Than Ready gets the rail run. Here comes the big horse Fusaichi Pegasus, and Fusaichi Pegasus storming home on the outside. Fusaichi Pegasus will hit the front. Aptitude try to run him down. Fusaichi Pegasus wins Kentucky Derby 126. Aptitude ran second, tight for third. Either Impeachment with a late run or more.
Trained by Neil Drysdale, the $4 million yearling. Incredibly, the first horse by Mr. Prospector, one of the great sires of all time, to produce a Kentucky Derby winner. And he passed away, Mr. Prospector, not long before Fusaichi Pegasus became his first winner of the Great Run for the Roses. Let's check out the market. The betting closed overnight on this race. I can tell you in America, slightly easing, but Point Given, the 17, is the clear-cut favourite. Congaree, number 8, is the third favourite in the States. Check over the page, we'll see Dollar Bill, number 10. This horse has been a huge tip from America. 2 runs back, clipped heels and stumbled in the race won by 50 Stars when Millennium Wind was second. It ran 4th, 3 runs back. It ran into trouble last time out, bumped at the start, and it made a lot of late ground behind Millennium Wind and Song and a Prayer. Third page, we'll see the favourite Point Given, $2.30. So those are the odds you'll get. Just disregard that time. Well, last year we mentioned Fusaichi Pegasus was the winner. Where did he get to in running from that barrier? Unbelievable, as the camera follows him along. He's the yellow colours, and watch him search for runs in this race. Just an unbelievable performance to win. He works back to the inside, And as far as the winning run's concerned, you'll see it open up as they near the home turn. It just was a fantastic ride, and a horse which the first favourite, as we mentioned, for so long. Kent Des Ormeaux in the saddle. Here he comes out wide with the blue nose roll, or should I say without the blue nose roll, with the yellow cap and orange and yellow colours, covered in dirt. He's been in behind the pack, surges to the line, a big impressive horse, and he's coming to Australia this spring to stand at Coolmore Stud out of a Danzig mare called Angel Fever, regally related, and that was his Group 1 success. And Fusaichi Pegasus is the name of the horse. Kent Des Ormeaux pretty happy, wasn't he? That was last year's run for the Roses. If you've never seen Delay of the Land at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, it's a tight turning oval circuit. The circumference is just a mile. And you can see the 2,000 metre start. The stretch run is only the last furlong. So a big field going around, and I can tell you the barriers are very interesting. The horse number correlates with its barrier, and 4 of the last 6 derbies have been won by horse numbers 15 or 16. Point Given is horse number 17 this year. So the outside barriers have been all important. So shortly we'll be off to Louisville. Another check of the latest in betting figures on the upcoming race, and as I mentioned, these closed last night. This is the 127th edition of the Derby. It hasn't been a good race for favourites. Take out Fusaichi Pegasus last year and you go back to the magical 1970s, and the last favourite to win was 79 Spectacular Bid, 77 Seattle Slew, who sired the Oaks winner from Kentucky on Friday, Foolish Pleasure in 75, Cannonade 74, Secretariat in 73, and Riva Ridge in 72. So the favourites looking to go back-to-back this year, and we do have pictures through from America. Bob Baffert saddling up the 2 runners, and the silver-haired statesman of racing is the crew previewing the action from Kentucky. So shortly we'll be hearing from Keith Hillier, who's there at the track. Now, as far as statistics are concerned, D. Wayne Lucas is the 3rd time most winningest trainer in the history of the Kentucky Derby. He has saddled up 4 winners, but he has sent around 38 starters. Bob Baffert's only sent around 9, and he's won 2. So his strike rate, very imposing, and he's got 2 outstanding chances, Congaree and Point Given. Point Given, the clear favourite in America. Congaree is single figure odds, and he's given a good chance of cornellaring the race. Now, weather and track at Louisville, Churchill Downs, about 28 degrees, the tip-top temperature. We go from there to the weather, cloudy. The track on the dirt is rated as fast. Important lead-up races, well, there's none more important than the very important Point Given, a horse who's by Thunder Gulch, a winner of the Kentucky Derby, and Point Given went around in the Derby last time at Santa Anita. And take a look at this for an impressive performance over the 1,700 metres, 1 mile. And 1/16 is the journey as we pick up the call.
To go, and Point Given as 3 favourites dominate. Heads a turn for home in the big one. Point Given gets a tap on the shoulder. He says, "Thank you very much, Gary Stevens. Here I come. I'll put in a procession for them." He's just putting on an exhibition run for us. Point Given, he hasn't taken a deep breath. Look at this guy go. Point Given, a half dozen in the...
By Thunder Gulch, as I mentioned, a former winner of the great race. This horse went around in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile late last year and was nosed out, and but prior to that went around in the Group 1 Champagne, AP Valentine proving too good. But that win has franked this horse as the clear-cut favourite in America. Second of the runners we're looking at is 50 Stars, who's considered one of the outsiders in America. Went around in the Lone Star Derby. It's number 5 in today's race. It finished 2nd on this occasion. And 50 Stars, well, some admire its chances. A quiet American horse, quiet American produced, real quiet. That's it, running home well for 2nd. And Real Quiet, of course, is successful in the Derby a few years back. He also shuttles to Australia to the Vinery operation. Well, from there we look to the Wood Memorial, which has been a time-honoured lead-up to this race. Last year, Fusaichi Pegasus won it before winning the Run for the Roses. Congaree for Bob Baffert was successful this year. As we look back to the running of that race, they turned for home Monachos, finishing in 2nd position.
And the leader is now Congaree. Congaree is taking the lead as the field is final 16th, and it will be Congaree to win the Wood. Congaree, the clear-cut winner. Over
Comfortable win if you're querying Congaree's breeding by Arazzi, another former winner of the Kentucky Derby. There's two going around who are produce of former Kentucky Derby winners. In fact, there is another Thunder Gulch in the field as well, and that is Invisible Ink number 13, and Monachos finishing second. It's right in the market. There's been some money for it in America. From there we go to the Arkansas Derby, 1,700 metres, 1 1/16 of a mile the journey, and the winner here was one which has been specced by the name of Balto Star, and this is Jamaican Rum finishing second in the race. It's number 15. It's a horse by Exemplary Leader out of a runaway groom mare. So as they clear out, it's Balto Star finishing first, a horse by Glitterman out of a Devil's Bag mare, and young Todd Pletcher is the trainer, a very smart young mentor in America. Well, Millennium Wind is a horse which brings the very important Bluegrass form into this race. A winner of the Bluegrass Stakes, its most recent start. It's number 2, and Millennium Wind was successful in this Group 1 feature. Now, the other key runners here, Song and a Prayer goes around. It's the Unbridled Song horse, which finished second and won the Fountain of Youth 3 runs back. Invisible Ink finishing in 4th position. Easy win, though, Millennium Wind by the Fapiano sire, which is Crypto Clearance. David Hoffman's was the winning rider on that occasion. That's our look at the key contenders. Keith Hillier is trackside sampling the wonderful Hospitality, trackside Louisville at Churchill Downs. Keith, as we say good morning our time to you, it was a hot day there last year. It's a warm one again today and a big crowd.
Yes, maybe even hotter. I think, Brendan, the temperature here would be about 32 degrees centigrade. The crowd last year, 150,000. No official figure yet. I'm sure it's bigger today. 17 of the best thoroughbreds in America will contest this 127th running of the Kentucky Derby, and maybe 160,000 crazies here to watch them.
Okay, Keith, the atmosphere. Tell us if you've had a mint julep yet or not.
I've had a mint julep, wouldn't recommend them, but it is a tradition here, Brendan, and you couldn't be at Kentucky at Louisville without trying it. They have a kick like a mule. We're going to see one of the great horses in America today, I think, Brendan, in Point Given. No Derby winner has ever come from his barrier, 17. He's the biggest horse in the race, and I think he's the best, and his trainer, Bob Baffert, not only has Point Stephen, but has the third favourite in the race as well. And I'm referring to number 8, Congaree, who is a 7-1 chance. At the moment in the ring, Point Given is the 2-1 favourite. He's being ridden by Gary Stevens. Gary Stevens holds a modern-day record of 3 Derby wins, a remarkable comeback jockey because he had crippling arthritis only a couple of seasons ago. And his trainer, Bob Baffert, of course, has a marvellous record in the Derby. In 96, he was beaten a nose with Cavonier. 97, he won with Silver Charm. And 98 with Real Quiet. And he's picked up a couple of Dubai World Cups in the meantime. That's the team, I think, to win this classic.
Now, Keith, in saying that about the barriers, Charismatic and Fusaichi, Pegasus, Thunder Gulch and Grindstone, 4 of the last 6 have started from near the extreme outside. So statistically, the last few years haven't been too rough on the outside drawn horses.
That's a very good point, Brendan. In fact, the Derby draw is different over here. The draw is not done for the barrier. The draw is done for choice order. And the connections of the favourite chose the outside barrier when they had about, I would say, 6th or 7th pick in the draw. So they wanted their horse to have plenty of galloping room. The reason for that, he is so big, he's a massive animal. His trainer describes him as a freak of nature.
I had the great pleasure of being there last year, Keith. Incredible scenes we're looking at now at about the 100, the half furlong marker, and watch that huge horse, Fusaichi Pegasus, come through. It's just an incredible day, isn't it? Are they close to Old Kentucky Home yet?
Would you repeat that question, Brendan?
How close are we to hearing Old Kentucky Home?
We're going to be pretty close to the singing of My Old Kentucky Home, and of course that is part of the tradition here. It has been since, well, I think this is the 71st year that My Old Kentucky Home will be sung. It's one of the most emotional moments in world sport. It was written by a guy called Stephen Foster. In 1864, he wrote other big songs too. Beautiful Dreamer, Swanee River and Junie with the Long Brown Hair. Some of your karaoke favourites there.
I'm sure about that, Keith. Now, there is significance for Australia this race, with several of the recent winners coming down under the stud. I speak of Real Quiet, Fusaichi Pegasus comes this spring, and Thunder Gulch back in 95. So there is real significance for us, isn't there?
Yes, indeed. And this favourite is by Thunder Gulch, who, as you mentioned, won the Derby. So this is a chance for Thunder Gulch to sire a Derby winner, to sire a winner of the race that made him famous, and a chance too for Gary Stevens to equal Billy Shoemaker as the second most winning jockey of the Derby. Bill Shoemaker rode 4 winners. He incidentally was the oldest winning jockey at 54 years, and the Derby record for wins was set by Eddie Acaro, 5 wins.
We're watching Bob Baffert. We've seen the Twin Spires, Keith. Whereabouts are you? Do you want to go outside and soak up the atmosphere?
No, it's fine for a moment. You mentioned the Twin Spires. They too are part of, well, they're probably the most recognised structures in all world sports. They were created, Brendan, simply for ornamental purposes, to be part of the grandstand that was built in 1894. So no wonder those Twin Spires here at Kentucky are so famous. Okay. And this, incidentally, as we're looking at the dirt track here, this is a patch of dirt that Muhammad Ali so often jogged on in the 1960s and stopped so many times to sign autographs. Admired their Louisville hero before he went on to be the heavyweight boxing champion of the world.
Incredible stories, incredible scenes, Keith. We'll let you go and savour the atmosphere, and thanking you for joining us.
Brendan,
You're keen.
Repeat again, please. You just dropped out.
You're keen on Point Given?
I think he'll win, and I think he'll be 50th favourite to win the Kentucky Derby. And talking of stats, 95 winners of this race were like this favourite, bred in Kentucky, and only 2 were bred outside the USA, 2 from Canada and 2 from England.
Yes.
And the trophy itself is made of 14-carat gold, adorned with 18-carat gold. It's 22 inches tall, it's 56 ounces, and it stood the same 2 years ago when the horseshoe on that trophy, this famous trophy with its jade base, was turned from ends down to ends up. Because, as you know, Brendan, there's a superstition in racing that if you put the tips or the ends of a horseshoe downwards, your luck falls out.
Well, let's hope the luck's running hot today for those of you that have had an investment here and for those of you that are watching the race. Keith, thanking you for your time as we count down to the big one. Keith Hillier online there from Churchill Downs. Yeah, interesting statistics that we've discussed with Keith in the countdown to the running of this famous race. The great garland of roses which adorns the winner after this is just something special. The atmosphere that happens post-race here. And the track, well, there's only a mile, so tight turning oval circuit. Tactics become all important. You saw how far back Fusaichi Pegasus came from last year. Our crew in America, the trackside team, will be able to link up with very soon. Luke Krybosch has been the regular caller at Churchill Downs, and again he'll be calling the action today. These Kentucky Derby glasses, you heard Keith referring to the mint julep. Whenever you buy a mint julep on track, these are the glasses you get. Kentucky Derby 2000, that was when Fusaichi Pegasus won. First one's a bit tough to cop. Mint juleps consist of sugar water, ice, a good slice of good old-fashioned mint, and a heavy dose of Kentucky bourbon. The second one's easier. The third one is even a little easier, the early times bourbon. But it's a great thing to be there, and also with My Old Kentucky Home being sung and plenty of those mint juleps, and you all get a glass. Every time you buy one, the glass is yours. Okay, they're heading down towards post positions for the start of Derby 127. And this mile and a quarter test. If you missed the latest in Aussie betting figures from overnight, this is what the should pays showed up at when betting closed. And Millennium Win 13, Balto Star at 16, Express Tour 14 for David Flores. Now a couple of interesting runners. Number $10 Bill. This is out of a Mount Livermore sire called Peaks and Valleys. It's the horse which has been heavily tried from morning line odds in. It's more than halved its quote in America, number 10. And last time out, it was bumped at the start in the race won by Millennium Wind. It made a lot of ground. The run prior clipped heels and stumbled. And and that was in a race won by 50 Stars. It brings good form lines, and Pat Day is in the saddle. AP Valentine, good odds with Corey Nakatani. Jerry Bailey, well, he's out of the limelight this year. Talk is Money is his ride, a horse placed behind Marciano, its most recent start. Ran third in the Flamingo behind Thunder Blitz, 2 runs back. Outside of those, Invisible Ink ran fourth behind Millennium Wind. It's another one by Thunder Gulch, the shuttle sire, who is also a Kentucky Derby winner. Number 14, Keats at big odds, is by Hennessy. Another shuttle sire, Hennessy, a Stormcat son. This one was successful in Group 2 company in the Coolmore Lexington Stakes. Last time out beating Mr. John. Was bumped at the start but still proved too strong on that occasion. Jamaican Rum, number 15. Placed behind Balto Star, its most recent start. Monachos ran second in the Wood Memorial. Number 16, the favourite over the page, is the Thunder Gulch 3-year-old, owned by the Thoroughbred Corporation. If you want to follow the favourite from the near outside gate, look out for these yellow and green colours we're about to show you. These are Monachoses, but you'll see the green and white stripes of Point Given. There it is, as they go through their final prelims. As we're near start time for Kentucky Derby 127. This has always had a guaranteed $1 million purse. It's over 1.25 miles, 2,000 metres. Entry fees $15,000 for each of the entrants for this race. And as far as the selections are concerned, the form, daily racing form in the States, went 17 Point Given ahead of 8, which is Congaree, 2 Millennium Wind, and 16 Monachos, the horse which was placed behind Congaree in the Wood Memorial, its most recent start. Other interesting statistics on the Derby. Well, the fastest ever run was Secretariat. He is the only horse to have ever broken 2 minutes for the 1.25 miles at Churchill Downs. Northern Dancer, the great sire, ran 2 minutes even. Spenderbuck, 2 minutes and 1/5. Decidedly 2 minutes 2/5. We'll go down to Grindstone, number 6, 2:01.06. Last year, Fusaichi Pegasus became the 7th fastest winner of all time, 2:01.12. Thunder Gulch, in his victory, is the 10th fastest winner of all time. So we're 2 minutes off a start time. Luke Krybotch gave us 2 minutes until start time. Now, post positions or barriers are all important. Last 2 years' winners, Fusaichi Pegasus and Charismatic, have both started from very wide gates. Fusaichi from 15, Charismatic from 16. Real Quiet at longer odds in 98 from 3. Silver Charm in 97 from 5. Thunder Gulch in 95 from 16. The Great Sunday Silence, a horse which we haven't seen in Japan, but we have seen his son, Fuji Kaseki. He was successful in this race in 1989. And again, his breeder turned out last year with Fusaichi Pegasus successful. As they counter down to the start, there's Millennium Wind by the Fabiano horse Crypto Clearance, Laffert Pinkay Jr. the rider. And there's the Gary Stevens ride, Point Given, same colour as his sire. Look out for the green nose roll in running and the white blinkers. Now they're approaching the starting gates and we'll be linking up with the crew very, very soon. As far as preparation races go, Fusaichi Pegasus won the Wood Memorial in the countdown to this race last year, and Congaree was successful from Monachos in the Wood Memorial this year, if that's any of a guide for you. Have a look at the huge crowd that has gathered. On screen is the 8. And the crowd figure last year was the second biggest ever in the history of this great race, at more than 150,000. In fact, it was 153,204. That was the fourth one. 1999, 151,000. The greatest crowd ever was back in 1974 when 163 people packed into the circuit. So that's just some stats on this famous race where they start at the beginning of the home straight, run past those famous twin spires, this tight oval circuit, and shortly we'll be linking up with Luke Krybotch. As far as other bits of information are concerned, breeding-wise, Fusaichi Pegasus, last year's winner, was a $4 million yearling. So we go back to 1988 rather, and Winning Colours was a $575,000 yearling. Ali Sheba in 87, a $500,000 yearling. We can take you to Kentucky in just a moment to link up with the crew. It's quite incredible the amount of money that's wagered on track on Derby Day. Last year, $20 million US off track 81 million was wagered. Total wagering, Kentucky Derby wagering 65 million last year, and total Derby Day wagering more than $100 million. First of the runners moves into line as we head trackside. Luke Kreitbosch to call them up.
Dollar Bill in the pink. Balto Star, Thunder Blitz, and Star Tack. 50 Stars in the purple. $50 Stars goes up. Nine of them in the gate. Express Tour in the Godolphin colors. Walks in Invisible Ink in the purple. Long Shot, Arctic Boy, Congaree, Keats, and it's Jamaican Rum. Now there's two back. Waiting for Monarchos and the favorite Point Given. Point Given up to the outside gate. The rider's off of number 11, Talk Is Money. Rider came off of Talk Is Money. All set. Off and running in Derby 127. Song as a Prayer broke straight as a string. Balto Star going with him. Millennium Wind is right there on the inside. They're quickly joined by Keats. He'll rush up to join the early fray on the outside. Congaree settling down in fifth, and the favorite Point Given is right there on the outside, racing sixth. Talk Is Money, 5 lengths off the pace, racing seventh. Up the inside comes Express Tour. Then a break of 3 back to Invisible Ink, who's followed by Star Tack with a good place up the inside. Thunder Blitz is 8 or 9 off the pace, right to his outside, AP Valentine. Then a break of 3 farther back to Monarchos, a good dozen off the pace early, followed by Arctic Boy, Dollar Bill. In behind that, at the back of the pack, 50 Stars. And Jamaican Rum the trailer. Out of the backstretch they go, Song and a Prayer. The opening quarter in a quick 22 and 2, and the half mile 44 and 4/5 seconds up the backstretch. Song and a Prayer by a length and a half now. He leads it in front of Balto Star, second Keats. 3 wide is racing third, Millennium Wind in fourth. And behind that, Congaree is tugging hard, racing in 5th place. Then Express Tour, 5 off the pace. Point Given with 6 to make up at this point. Followed by Thunder Blitz, and behind that, Invisible Ink. And 2 back to Monarchos and Star Tack. Around the far turn they go, and it's still Song and a Prayer in front by a length and a quarter. There goes Congaree, and Point Given follows him into stride on the far outside. Balto Star comes under pressure now. Express Tours on the outside to the top of the stretch. It's Congaree past the quarter pole in front by 1. Point Given attacking in second. Monarchos unleashing a rally on the far outside. Then Express Tour down to the final furlong they go. Congaree's got the lead. Victor Espinoza riding for his life. Monarchos trying to run him down to the outside. Final furlong, Congaree. Monarchos pushing on by to take the lead. Monarchos and Jorge Chavez going clear, and Monarchos wins the Kentucky Derby. He won it going away. Then Congaree in second, Invisible Link ran third, and finishing fourth was Thunder Blitz. The time was 1:59 and 4.
Well, Monarchos, the 16 horse